All right, welcome, you wake up humans, or whatever the hell we want to call ourselves here. We've got our post DE. What month are we in?
April still.
April.
So we're still in April of 2025, coming off Clearwater, and we got Martinez, Henderson, and Lieberman. Let's rock it, boys.
Yeah, man, that's a great
We're just talking
Tuesday.
about the overcoming theme of DE, and you guys were talking about all the people that have returned that haven't been there in years, eh?
Yeah, there was a lot of people there, hadn't been to D, 10, 20, 30 years. And then they were back. And I think the overall feeling from those people, the attendees there were, they felt loved and welcomed and like if they had never left. So, that's what I saw that weekend for sure.
Yeah.
I think people, like you were saying, Steve, sometimes expect that you even said somebody asked, is it safe to come back? And part of that's our own fault. We were pretty aggressive back in the day, protecting Dr. Sid's legacy. A little bit hurt from Life University experience, and we're a bunch of young punks, just doing the best they could, but doing it for the right reasons. And so we might have had a little bit of a reputation of that. So that could be our fault. But it's certainly nowhere where it is right now, man.
Amen.
Yeah, and I met one guy, two of them actually from Florida, older guys. They hadn't been there in 30 years, but they were looking for spiz. That's what they said. Like, I just want some spiz rinktum. They came back to DE. They're like, we knew it was here. We just haven't been here. We're glad we're back, and they're going to be back in July. They've already registered.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's great.
I mean, and they're in their 70s.
Yeah,
maybe 80s, like up there.
I think sometimes that could be a good litmus test for us. That's good to see that people could come back and feel that welcome. I felt like the meeting was just, I was saying before, just how Steve kind of closed out Saturday night, and the room kind of came together, and nobody wanted to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wanted to leave, man. It was quite a, I hate to use the word love fest, but it was palpably different from when we started that weekend. That group had came together as kind of almost a family. You can see that Parade of Stars does that as well, where you just get to see these people come in, and somebody's CA, and somebody who hasn't been in a while, or somebody who's just had incredible things or very difficult things, and you realize and if you listen to the speakers all weekend long talking about, and maybe that's what I heard a lot this weekend, how DE is there for you for the good times and the bad times, that it's not Spizzerink. It's not just Spizzerink to him,
Yep.
It's a whole lot more.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we're go ahead.
Go ahead, Eddie.
No, I mean, I think we're there just to piggyback on Brian. He's there to not only celebrate the victories and the success we have between DEs, but also it's these people that especially like Parade of Stars this time around. It was a little heavy. It was a little heavy, but these people, they know that they were safe to be in a place where they can let go and let out whatever was going on inside, so that they could be a better them, and then maybe catapult themselves to becoming the better chiropractor, human, you name it, for the next time, for next Parade of Stars, so then they could celebrate then.
I mean, think about.
And I think one of the biggest things. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
I think one of the biggest things that if people haven't been to DE, if you go, you understand. But really, when Brian says the people just didn't want to leave the room Saturday night, it's like from the outside looking in, you can never understand it. But once you get there and you're on the inside looking out, it's hard to explain it. It's hard to explain what happens in that room sometimes.
1,000%, man.
Yeah.
That's why, people, I'm glad we've got this option for people to do it online. And I hope people use it to fill in the gaps for when they have some real stuff maybe that they can't get there or choose not to get there. And don't just think that they're getting DE overall. I mean, until you get there, it's a different world. And it's kind of like, to me, you can walk into one of our offices or one of the people that we know, a Paula Hedgelong office, and then walk into a more maybe medicalized, not DE type of office, and the feeling that people get, and that's a generalization, of course. I'm sure there's some very loving, medicalized chiropractors. I don't want to say that completely, but just what we know of how we even take care of people in our office, that there's such a difference walking into an office that's filled with love, service, and especially lasting purpose service. I was just talking on the phone with texting with somebody who's trying to grow, and it's still they'll do the breasts, they'll do this, and it's all, well, I didn't grow this week, and it's just that no expectation of return that tends to be very, very difficult for people to grasp and follow.
100%.
Yep.
You talk about people coming in heavy. How do people expect? You could teach anyone systems, but if you're heavy and your heart ain't right, you're just a robot. And patients pick up on that. If you're heavy and you're not clear and connected innately, that's going to reflect on the practice. We had our inner office meeting this morning, and Kosser's like, I wanted to be like DE, like let's bring DE to them because we didn't bring the staff this time, and we had a lot of new people there. And it's funny, we let the whole room talk, and I just kind of sit back and observe and hear their words. And it's like when people realize we're not here by chance, whether you're a doctor or a CA, but you're the industry we're in of service to change people's lives. You go from being at a job to being on a mission. And when people realize that, your practice just blows up.
Oh.
Yeah, and I don't really think it's anything that can be taught or anything else. Today had a new patient come in. She's what is she, like 7 months pregnant, 30 weeks, whatever 30 weeks is, pregnant. Somebody else referred her in. She walked in before she even got paperwork to fill out. She just looking around. She just like, I like it here. I like it here. I'm like, we like it too. How you doing? Happy to see you. And filled out paperwork. She like, I'm going to have my husband come tomorrow, and this is great. I'm like, yeah, we think it's great too. Just, we wasn't doing anything. It was just being a principal DE office,
Do you guys ever walk into an exam room and I'm like, how'd you find out about us? Oh, my husband and son come here. And I'm like, oh, that's right. I love them.
Did that
and I
this
walk
week.
out and I pull up their picture and I'm like, oh shit. Okay. Yes.
I have learned to really take the time to look at the paperwork and ask the right questions before, because I am terrible. Oh, I just did that. Oh, yeah. So I I've been a patient. Forget it. All right, let me just go. And they came in with their husband, and they're a patient. I'm doing a consult with the husband, and I didn't realize the mom was a patient. Now I have a little excuse because associates. So do you, but still, yeah. I should know. I should definitely know. But I think it's just a different place. And you said, Drew, you said B. That's one of the things that the B do have kind of thing. It's weird that Dr. Sid didn't do more of B do have, but like it's always been instilled, but it goes along with lasting purpose. But everybody wants to have, and some are willing to do, but very few are willing to be. It's definitely an inverse, scale as far as that goes. But I think clearly the most important part, Steve, me and you were talking to that same person. You might know who I'm talking about, and from DE, who's trying to grow. And you know, it's you can just tell it's all ego driven right now. You know, it's not sinking in that you actually have to want to just take care of people, want to just serve people, want to just be that person, before you get to see the growth and the things that you're looking for.
And you gotta, I mean, a place that people run into is they want to do it because then they want to come to DE and say, look at me, look what I'm doing. And that's not the way to go. It's got to
Yep.
be a greater purpose to just lose yourself in service. And that's the give, love, serve. And it doesn't stop there, out of your own abundance without attachment. And when you learn that detaching and you just show up and serve, like I love when people say, well, how do you get your new patients? Like they just keep coming because everyone's telling people about it. Right. So it's like I've had associates do screenings and everything, but I don't like it. Right. But I'll keep doing it because if it's a way to go fishing, I call it now. But I didn't grow my practice that way. When they came to the office, we created it and made an experience for them and educated the crap out of them and listened to them and then built value as to what we could do to change their life, and light bulbs go off.
I've always said one of the biggest practice growth secrets ever was doing a group doctor's report. It's where one person became a family of whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
Best thing
you
ever.
just they see your passion, they see the truth, it makes sense to them, and then most of them, if you make a way where it's feasible to participate, their whole family comes in care, and then you're adjusting the baby, who you saw when they were 6 weeks old, that now you're adjusting their baby, and nonstop since you saw them, and it's freaking awesome. But it doesn't just happen. And I guess using this example of it is a good, he's like, I'm doing what Judson says, I'm doing what you say. And I really just want to say, well, then stop, like just get quiet and see what just doing everything that everybody says is not a big change. The big change would be to get quiet, get humble, shut up, and actually just become a more peaceful human being that attracts and makes a better experience for the people, like you're saying. But that is much harder than going out and doing a talk.
Right.
Yeah, and I know for me personally, I don't care what other chiropractors may think of me at DE or somewhere else. Oh, like he's grown this, he's got this size office. I just want to lay down at night knowing that I did my darndest with every patient. I was present as much as I could and just want to be a servant and go to sleep and get up and just do it again. That's really all I want. I want to know that I've done my best.
That's pretty damn cool.
Taking care of people.
This was a weird D for me because the last D, talking about my daughter coming in and just really getting back to doing what it takes to just be awesome in the office, to be so plugged in. So this time, I wanted to tell the results of it, which I've really never done before. I don't talk much. I'm not scared. I don't purposely not talk about numbers, but I guess also I don't like sounding egotistical, even though Dr. Sid always wanted us to talk about numbers. But it was a very, very strange thing for me. But for me, it was just it ended. It was, I wanted people to see, because what I did differently was breaths taught before every shift in the office, reading green books myself, and then bringing green book quotes into the staff huddles, going week by week with Dr. Sid's affirmations book with our staff, plugging into people. And just, there's times when I was just going through a little bit more of the motions, where I was seeing the clock, hoping that patient wanted to see Dr. Rebecca today rather than me, and that's just not being a complete servant mindset. So, but I didn't do all these outside things. I did almost all inside things, and the results were awesome, and if I can do it 27 years in practice again, you can do it at any point in your career. And we just got to get more people to understand that, to buy into Dr. Sid's works, because they work.
Yeah, and I think everything that you guys have been talking about now, it's it brings about a different vibration to the office, and that's what people feel. So, you know, and doing all these things, like you said, Brian, you can't mimic somebody else with expecting things to change because you have to, you know, it has to come from losing yourself in service, like Steve said. So once you get that, you know, it's just, you know, sky's the limit, you know, and then, you know, get centered within yourself and do the breaths and do all these things, but don't do them because you're expecting something, you know, do it and then it'll just come. That's what, you know, that's what we were taught.
100%.
Yeah, and I was glad because I didn't do it because I already knew. Well, I already knew what I just had to go back to doing what I was doing. So for me, it was,
Right.
you know, it was a lot easier. Some people haven't proven that to themselves already, but it's you know it's tried and true for me. It's just, you know, I was losing a little bit of my love and just excitement for what I was doing, and just getting re-dipped and all that was just so much more freaking fun. Like that's the whole thing that really comes. It's so like you're saying, Drew, like just so much more rewarding. Like you know, I got to put my head down at night, just knowing I was doing pretty much the, you know, as the best or close to the best I could do,
Yeah.
and that was extremely, extremely rewarding. And then it's also it is nice when, you know, the results do come with it as well. But it's been a 20 set. I know you guys were all been in practice a long time. It's been a long what do you call it? So what kind of test? You know, when you're doing a test like research. It's been a long research project we've been doing, and we know the results. Like the results are in. It's, you know, I don't need to prove it to myself. I just need to go back to, oh yeah, that's what works.
Yep. And if it didn't work, DE would not be the oldest chiropractic seminar there is from 1964, 61 plus years
Yeah,
at DE. And only because it works. Only reason, because it works.
absolutely.
And that was
Absolutely.
that was another big theme of this past DE was a lot of people were talking about slipping and checking.
Mhm.
You know that, yeah.
Yeah, I think this stuff comes in seasons. It seems like, you know, where like it, I always joke around and something like that. I say, you know, like, you know, I guess Mars is in retroactive or whatever the heck it is. I don't know what they call it, but that, you know, that like it seems like there's a lot of us kind of shifting into similar patterns, and it just becomes a theme that comes through that slipping and checking is definitely just a part of life, man, in many different ways.
You know, I think with our age group, you talk in the beginning, you were talking about how when we took over DE and we were fire, man. You know, like we came out hot and and fire.
Poor Drew, he was calmer back then.
He was
Yeah.
just thinking,
And
then
now
he
I'm
was
swinging
thinking,
up.
Now he's the
yeah,
fire one. I'm telling you.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
now you can hear him from the freaking stage.
I'm going to turn it back down a little, I think.
No. Oh heck
No.
no. No, it's so good coming from you. Nobody expects it, and they all like it. Go ahead, Steve. You're saying.
Well, but then, you know, you hit that phase, and I think that's what happens to people. You get comfortable, you're quote unquote successful, you're coasting a little bit. You get you get a little bit tired, you know what I mean? And you know, me and Eddie were talking about that before. It's like, you know, you're used to cranking at the office. Like the past 2 days, I've been alone in the office. My associate's out getting married, and
Oh,
I'm like, oh shit, I gotta take the x-rays. I gotta, and then it's like, dude, come on, work. You know, you got another 30 years of this shit. But the beauty of it is we know where to place our mindset because of what the people before us taught us. All I got to do is think of like Dr. Umber and other people that have been doing this longer, and it whips me back real quick. So when you
yeah.
surround yourself with people starting a practice, you know, you get these programs that are going to teach them how to go do a screening. We're going to hold you accountable. Go do this. We're going to hold you, but it's not sustainable. If they're not emotionally connected in the right frame, they'll load up that office with people and they're going to walk out the back door. We've seen it for 20 plus years. And that's why people coming back that haven't been around, or they went to a program that taught them nuts and bolts and how to do an amazing day two and sell them on a $6,000 plan over 4 months. And they make some quick money, but then all those people drop off because they're not getting the message and they're not hearing your heart or feeling your heart and being connected. that now they get exhausted and burned out because they're not on purpose and they don't have a mission. And that's what DE gives people.
That little part there, we should play that at DE, Judson. That was spot on about why, it reminds me of that whole Pirelli thing. Their posters always said power is nothing without control. You can have 1,200 horsepower, but if you can't connect to the street, and I always feel like that connection, that tire to the rubber to the road is the principle, is who you are, is who you're being, is how you show up, how they get it, how you educate, all that stuff.
Yeah.
The horsepower is just going out and doing all the screenings, all the, whatever you're doing, which, if you get who you are first and all of that, and then you do all that, you're gonna have a huge practice.
Right.
That's going to be sustainable and be enjoyable, and you won't need to do as many, screenings and stuff. You won't need to be constantly pushing and pushing and pushing. But that's it's hard to get people. And listen, I don't put it past the fact that people coming out now with $300,000 in debt, which is absolutely ludicrous. But still, we gotta be there for these people and let them know that you can do it just like this.
That's right. That's right. Which is why we got to get out there and we got to educate these students and bring them in to get this. When we were at school, Dr. Sid would have DE speakers coming on campus all the time.
Yep.
I know, Eddie, you're going to Sherman in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's what we need more of. We need more, not just the same 3 or 4 people doing it. We got to get more people involved that are on mission and are getting out there and hustling to educate and teach these students so they don't get lost in the $300,000 debt. The $300,000 in investment.
It's just a house payment. I want to give shout out to Sherman students just for showing up big at this last DE. I thought it was pretty awesome. They had a really, really, really good showing. Jack Borla,
That's
absolutely
fired up.
Yeah, he's fired up, and we got to bring that. Just got to take advantage of those opportunities with students because they need us.
Yeah. Chiropractic needs it, man.
Yeah.
We keep spitting out mixers and people that aren't attached to the principle. We're nothing but a therapeutic modality and we lose our purpose.
I'm amazed. We were at a different conference and someone was getting up there just talking about the miracles that happened to their parent, their mother, and how she became a chiropractor and her husband and all that. And then you look and they got laser and other stuff, and that's I just don't understand how you can be so strong on the principle and wishy-washy on the service, on the application of it.
Dude, we just all sat in a room somewhere at a philosophy night, and the dude was talking about drops and shit to put under your tongue, and I don't know what the hell. I zoned out. I started playing a game on my. It wasn't philosophy.
Right. We were eating lunch, and he was talking about the gut and all the things to do for the gut. And I'm looking at him. First of all, I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I don't know. You might want to put down the pancakes first of all, and second of all, I don't. What do you talk? What does this have to do with the philosophy of chiropractic?
Right. But that's the problem, that it was being endorsed.
Right. Yeah. Well, there's work to do. There's work to be done, obviously, plenty. But this my whole thing has always been that I can only do what I can do, and I'm around the people I'm supposed to be around, and we're going to attract in the people we're supposed to attract, and then we're going to try to keep putting arms and fingers and tentacles out to I hope some of us groups come a little bit together. There's talk about a couple of meetings combined next year, right? In April. So I don't know if we're at are we probably are, right? I mean, we probably no.
I don't know.
I stay away from that right now.
Stay away from it. All right, but
a lot could go wrong.
Let's go with this. I'm glad Cordero is the CEO of the ICA. That's a good step over there.
He's got his work cut out for him, man. But it's a great step that they made to bring him in, and he's working, man.
Yeah, I think we had 23 new members at this past DE for ICA.
Yeah.
You know, we
That's
just
awesome.
needed some guidance at the top that mimicked, you know, how we feel about chiropractic completely. And you know, this group's all in on when it's the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it's the right thing, they get behind it. That's that, you know, we saw it with Sherman, you know, when, you know, all their rah-rah boys were running it into the ground, and then they brought Cordero in and we got behind them and saved the school. You know, they whispered to him, "We're shutting this down in 6 months if you don't fix it." Well, thanks.
Yep.
And who saved it? Him and DE. Right.
Yep.
And then his rah-rah boys jumped back in and started sabotaging it, but he was able to bust his ass and work through that and save the damn school. And now it's, you know, you got Jack Burler there and he's front row at every single DE. The guy showed up regularly.
Showing up, man, brought his students, man. And the students are on fire.
But, you
Some
know,
good students.
he sees the daylight of what has to happen. And I can't think of a better person going on campus than you, Eddie. I mean, you got to be excited for that. And ultimately, what's your outcome? You know, what are you trying to pull with these kids?
Oh, I mean, the whole outcome is to get them to understand the dynamic essential, and just like what you guys were saying, that they can get out of school with this investment of, you know, these hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they can succeed just by doing what we were saying here. And you know, they got to get the message. They got to stay plugged in while they're in school, and then once they get out of school, they got to stick around. Because that's the way they're going to be successful. So
I love
you
that
know,
your first sentence wasn't to get them to DE. Now, and that is, we do want them at DE,
yeah,
but really it's for them to get the dynamic essential. That's why
yeah,
we want them at DE, you know?
Yeah.
So,
right.
you know, and that's what people don't understand, you know, you know, I'll say it 1,000 times is, you know, DE was, when we took over DE, it was a for-profit uh, uh, organization. Life Foundation was the not-for-profit philanthropical side that the Williams family had. But when we took it over, it was for-profit, and we immediately made changes to take it so that it is a non-profit. Nobody profits. Nobody. We're sitting here doing a recap on Tuesday night. I'm missing the Braves game, and get paid nothing directly or financially. You know what I'm saying? I know what I get from it because I understand laws of the universe, but there's no financial gain for us. We don't know, they don't pay our way to DE, they don't pay for our hotels, they don't pay for our flights. We do all of that. We do it for the love. I mean, you know, for me, I won't speak for everybody, but I know we're all in a similar thing, is my absolute just gratitude to
Yep.
Dr. Sid Williams, now Dr. Umber and DE and Life University at that, you know, at that time, still,
Yeah.
but just, you know, the loyalty and the gratitude I have for them for how my life has went, you know, how this idiot has done something pretty good
Right.
over a long period of time. And that's not just that I'm financially successful, which I am. It's that, you know, I love my kids. My kids love us. You know, my daughter's graduating chiropractic school. My kid's an amazing performer. You know, been married now 27 years, together 36. I could go on and on about all the things non-material that I'm so thankful for, that I know would not be this way they are if it wasn't for Dr. Sid.
Mhm.
100%.
Yeah. And talking about payment of DE, if we just look around right now, um, DE's paid us a lot. If we just look around, and
Yep.
what we're doing now is trying to repay that debt
Well
of like
said.
the life that we have. It's paid basically everything I've got in chiropractic is paid
It,
for that.
it prepaid.
Yeah, prepaid. Like since school, it's not a check, but it's a mindset and a heart set that it's given me, and I know the rest of us, of how to love people, how to serve people, and then we have this abundant life, and now we're doing this stuff, doing this at 8:30, 9 o'clock on a Tuesday night, to repay a debt that we benefited from.
So well said, man. That is brilliant.
100%.
Absolutely brilliant. Leave it to Drew. Yeah, but it's a pretty good gig.
I'll tell you, Lieberman, I look forward to listening to your talk because obviously I'm getting ready when you're talking and just kind
Yeah.
of in the dark, just
Yep.
getting zoned in, zoned out. But I had someone come up to me after and go, "Did you hear Lieberman's talk? Like, you got to listen to it." And like, how long does it take for these damn things to get up on the website? Like,
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I don't
I'm
know.
like,
I'm so bad at going back and listening to them, but so I couldn't tell you, that's for sure.
but it's certainly they're all great. Like every time we come back for DE, it was like the best DE ever. But I'm looking forward to hearing that because it's like, hearing your talk before, I listened to it after and you're talking about Bree and everything going on. And then within 2.5 months, you're changing your logo, changing your colors, painting the office,
Oh
doing the
my
grass,
God.
you're reignited. Like you bring
Oh,
the baby in the office and it like woke you up.
yeah. It's my favorite intern, but my most expensive for sure. That's we just yesterday. I'm walking out from lunch. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. And all of a sudden, there's 9 brand new chairs, a couch, and 2 new benches out in the in the reception waiting area. And I'm like, oh, 2 new rugs also. We still don't have the pictures back up on the wall because Bree's not here half the week, so I don't know where to put them. It's great. It's awesome. It's
How do I
freaking awesome.
decide my office?
It's I try to pretend I resist at different stages and then I just have to let go and enjoy the crap out of it. This young energy is just a whole lot of fun. And yeah, so it's been pretty fun.
It's
It
funny.
sounds like it's the new puppy dog with the old dog that's trying to go to sleep. The new puppy's playing with the old dog, waking him
Right.
up.
Great
No
analogy.
doubt.
Love it.
That is so
Love it.
freaking true, man.
Great analogy.
I'm just glad that I recognized it because I don't think that puppy would have been poking her tail into me being a better me. But I just knew for her, I had to do it. I just had to self-reflect. And I'm very proud of myself. Like I said that time, not pride, but proud that I recognized it, that I knew what I had to do, and that I and we all did it. And it's so gratifying. And definitely the last like 2 or 3 weeks before D, I could feel the proverbial slipping. So I'm very thankful to, have every 3 months know I'm going to get my ass if you choose to. I was doing great at justifying good enough for quite a while, and but you're right, that puppy dog coming in can wake you up sometimes, and it was an awesome wake up call.
Listen, man, DE is a bright light. Like I walked in the DE and you'll get the people that are truthful to you.
Yeah.
And they're like, bro, talking to me. Are you okay? You look tired. I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking tired. I'm not gonna lie to you. And then you have a little talk. But you know what? It brought to my consciousness, you know what? I didn't stay up till 3 a.m.
You did it. You did a good job.
And I disappeared. I got up early, went for a walk on the beach, chilled out. And then by Monday in the office, because there's been times coming back from DE and you hear people say, oh, I had the biggest day ever. And I'm like, dude, I'm freaking exhausted till Wednesday.
Exhausted.
You're up late talking to people and Jen, but I just was able to realize going into it, I knew what I knew, but I was also prepared to serve and work and be up late if I had to talk to people. But then a couple people were like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, yeah, I'm freaking tired, man. And that's when it was like, it was one night, Eddie's like, come on, you want to hang out? I'm like, I do, but I shouldn't. And I went back Monday and I woke up Monday morning, got to the gym. I was fired up and rested. And I'm like, I needed this DE for myself.
Good for you.
As much as we all pour into it, shit, 1994. So we're talking 31 years. I still need it.
Yep.
And that's the special moment that it's like, it never goes away. I don't care how old you are. And we look at Dee Umber, who's looks amazing.
Unbelievable.
But
he looked better than ever that
he
last
did.
D. Oh
man.
He really did, man. And Steve, I'm telling you, and unfortunately for you, your energy is, you have a Lions leader's, heart and energy, But I'll tell you, this meeting, I think, was the least amount I saw us up late and at the bar, in as long as I can remember, as far as a meeting goes, man. So kudos. And you were even shorter than most people, as far as getting to bed and stuff. But the group did even a better job overall, which I was really happy about.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Listen, I miss the time hanging out with you guys. Like, that's the thing I love. Like, you don't want to miss a moment, but you also got to mature to the point and realize you got to listen to your innate, especially if our innately connected family support members are pointing things out. You got to listen. And it's, if
Yep.
we don't listen and you go against that grain, it's going to go against your own expression of life, which is going to show up in the practice. And I'm like, we don't want that.
Yeah, your eyes look better than they did at DE. That's for sure, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, which is great. It's slipping and checking is probably the biggest reason to keep coming to DE.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes it's so long down the road before you realize that you've been slipping for a while.
Well, how many people have you seen at DE, even speakers, and their talks are kind of rough, and you try to talk to them, but their ego gets in the way, and now they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, it was more about us than them, and being honest and saying, well, I got to do some healing myself, and I got to, something's either my ego's in the way, or I'm attracting darkness in my life that's showing up. And if, people come to D and they call this their family, their second family, and all that kind of stuff. Well, I know in my family at my house, my wife's going to call me out than anybody because she loves me that much. And I've learned to just shut my mouth and go, okay, I have to, even though I don't like it sometimes, and I got to be quiet and just reflect on it. Right. Because in the past,
It's hard.
shut the fuck up, but that's not right. And when the people that love you the most, they're going to tap you on the shoulder and say, something's not right. Let's fix it. Let's address it. People like Tim Zook, Vinny, Darcy, Paula, these are like constant little warriors, power warriors running around that room. Joe Parpola. I mean, these people are powerful.
Little Jedis,
Powerful people, man, that love and
Yoda.
love. Yeah. I love it. Anna Hughes. The list goes on.
It's because there's a lot of really, really good human beings. That this Joe Parpola really is becoming this new Andy Harding. I don't know if everybody's, he just has this quiet, and that's kind of really, Andy same way. What a great human the two of those, both of them are, and that's why they attract so many people to DE, because people just love who they are, and just if that's where they go and act like that, then I probably want to be there as well. But it's a special place. And I go back when you say that, it reminds me of that story, man. You guys came to visit the house and practice that DE, you and Amlinger. Eddie, you weren't there, were you, Eddie?
No.
I don't think
No.
so. That you came in a couple of days early from before DE, and I guess we were going on Thursday. So Wednesday night I was in the office. You guys came in the office. I had these little half walls up in between tables, and you guys hung out, and I said, "Oh yeah, let me know what you think." I got home. You guys were in the pool having fun, and I walk in, and I'm like, "So what'd you think?" And you're like, "You got to take those walls down. They're blocking flow." And I got pissed, and literally I turned around, went in the house. And I'm kind of steaming around for 5 minutes. And then I finally looked in the mirror. I'm like, what the F is wrong with you? And it came to me. And this is what I love about the people at DE, is that somebody called me out on something that innate was telling me to do, but I didn't have the balls or decided not to listen. It had nothing to do with what you said about it. It was, if I had not thought of that, I don't think I would have been upset about it at all. Do you know what I mean? I was struggling, not every day, but that mind is, I should get rid of these. This is not working. There's too much. And, but that's the greatest, then I came out and said, thank you. And we had those walls down within a week. And, but that's just the kind of people that I like to surround myself with. I don't need people just clapping for me all day long, just because I need to have, for BS. I'd rather somebody tell me I'm being an asshole sometimes, or doing something that I could do better. RJ telling me that's my talk. Our wives like to hear their actual names sometimes, not just my wife. All right, point taken. Thank you. And I consciously think that, man, 15 years later, when I'm up there and I'm about to say my wife, and I'll say, Rachel, um, uh, because, man, a Curso did it to me too. Like, I could go through. You guys have
Yeah.
in certain times. I mean, Judson, we know, it's called me out a few times, and I'm just thankful for it. I'm thankful for it.
Hey, Brian, didn't you make Walter redecorate his office?
Oh my goodness. We went and visited Walter's office, and at the next DE, I'm talking, and I meant it in the best way. Because I used to always have this saying that it's not about the granite countertops, so don't show me your office, be like, oh, look at the granite over here. It's so beautiful. I don't care what it looks like. Show me the kids in there, your heart, and what's going on. And we all went, me and Steve, and who else was with us? Eddie and
I think Drew was there. I think Drew was
Drew,
there.
I was
yeah.
there.
That's right. It was the four of us. And then we got the coffee first. That was a great story too. But
Oh my gosh.
remember the coffee next door? And he's like, I literally thought he thought we were gonna have getting shot.
We were too American to be there.
We were too not from there to be an American
Yep.
to be there. There was nothing good going on. We just didn't realize how close we were to death.
We almost got deported to America.
Right. So, but I said on stage that, like, they were like, God, you should see, Walter's office. There's so much love. It's incredible, but he's still using flip charts from the 70s. And I don't think the walls have been painted since the same time. And the next DE, Walter gets up there and says how he had to repaint the whole office that what's the name got? Oh, it's all like, his wife. I just got her name. Glenda, thank you. She had to redo the whole office because I said that. I felt terrible. Absolutely terrible. Yeah, I was not meaning to call him out that time, but I meant it positively.
Hey, are you guys going to the FCS gala?
I think we're actually,
I'll be there.
You'll be there? Okay.
Better be.
Yeah, it's June, 16th or something?
June 14th,
14th.
Saturday. Yeah.
You going, Steve?
I'm going, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I gotta go to my nephew's graduation Friday here in Connecticut, and then we're taking a special flight down for these punks.
Oh my goodness. Are there any good rooms left?
I think I got one facing the dumpster. My wife's upset. I'm like, who gives a shit? Who cares? It's like the little things. I'm like, stop. I'm like, you get a balcony on the ocean. I look out for a minute and I'm like,
Exactly. I think I saw it twice.
your
Yeah.
head's gonna be down. You're not even gonna see it.
Yeah. Let's just
Well, we're celebrating 60 years, and
pretty awesome.
they started in 1965. The year after DE came about, and BJ had a big influence in creating us, and then Dr. Sid in the 80s really had a big influence on us. So,
did any of the DE guys were the originals or no?
I have a lot of old pictures, and John Boutwell was in a lot of those pictures, even though he wasn't in Florida. But he was involved. He was involved with a lot of these guys, like Tom Owen, stuff like that.
Very cool. It's a hell of an organization, though. And if you're not a member, even if you're out of state, you should join the FCS.
Yeah, but I'm a member. Brian's a member.
Yeah.
I'm a member of the GCC too, and a bunch of other ones. So,
but I did get a email today or the other day about having to update something on my thing, and I tried to log in. I didn't know
what was that?
I think you had to update they're asking for like your information again or something like that.
Yeah, practice location, address.
Call the executive director.
You tell her to call me.
Behind the brick wall. Tell her.
Right.
Behind the brick wall.
Yakinico, mommy.
All right, my boys. That I love doing these recaps, man. I think it's freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's great.
Yeah. Listen, it's all part of the big picture of everything we've been working towards forever. and DE's in a great place. We have a board meeting next Tuesday, and we're constantly striving. And people listening to this, if you have ideas and feedback and things you'd like to see at DE, we'll probably say no, but shoot it to us anyway.
Right. Right. Yeah, no, we love reading. Not kidding. Yeah, no, I mean, it's like my daughter wanted to do like a big survey. What do you think of the hours? I'm like, I don't really want to know what they think of the hours.
Yeah, if you want to work, honey, go ahead.
Okay, whatever you want to. No, but I mean, it is good to know. Just, I always say, just know that some of it might not be stuff that we, really think is aligned with DE, or, goes along with what we're trying to do. And it's amazing how, when you start trying to help run some of these things, how hard it is to please everyone. So you can't try.
Our biggest challenge comes from people within the profession against us. They love us, they want us, they need us, but there's something there that they push against us because they don't have that dynamic essential. And that shows up big when we go to other circles, and we've had to learn to love them anyway, which is great.
And because I just tend to not care, the ICA has been one of those organizations, in my opinion, that didn't quite understand really what DE is about. And I really feel like this past ICA meeting was a pivotal turning point of letting them see a little bit more of who we are, maybe minus my one slight interaction with somebody, but that, the loving and the caring and the and then, going into DE and having 23 new members, I think is going to be pivotal for the ICA and DE's relationship, and that's going to be pivotal for the profession.
It 100% can be.
Yeah, it can, right. It 100% can be, man. And let's hope it.
And listen, there's going to be arrows shot at us, which is fine. It's just like, wow, catch it. But the longer we stay in, and we could make positive change and grow, because the ICA is ready for growth, but certain things must happen. And Cordero becoming CEO was a pivotal step. It's just now, what will he be able to implement and do? And he's busting his ass. So it's going to be cool to see what happens over the next couple months.
It's going to be really cool. And for me, I needed to see some form of action in that direction so that I could be a lot more in. I can't say all in, but mostly in. I guess I can say all in right now. Just I needed to see that, and I think Cordero's going to do a heck of a job if he's allowed to. It seems like there's some people there really open to doing it. Beth Clay has been a real champion, for getting Dr. Cordero, and then, really trying to give him the ability to do his job. And I commend her, really for it. So we'll see what happens. We got a new president in there, Joe Betts. You guys know him. Yeah, you guys know him more than I do. But I'm hoping that he's going to be willing to do a whole lot of working with, there's no other organization in the ICA more represented than DE. Not even close. Not even close.
Joe Betts is a smart guy, and we see the ICA release their new definition of subluxation, which, we fought it. We're like, what's wrong with Stevenson's? What's wrong with what we have? And they wanted to update it. And, that guy was pulling out definitions and journals. But at the end of the day, it's like they're trying to do something, which, it's people are upset about it. I mean, once they released it on social media, people are like, what the flip is this? But they don't understand is when you're in an environment where it comes down to a vote, if you're outvoted, got your voice is nil.
Yeah.
Your voice is nil. And at the end of the day, it's like, if you're not going to get involved and you're just going to sit on the sideline and bitch about it, there's nothing we could do. And that's why, to be able to go to this DE and be able to look people in the eye and say, sign up.
Yep.
It was a hell of a lot easier knowing that now there's greater potential to actually do something great.
Greater potential. It's exactly what there is. Greater potential, man.
I think we felt that when we were telling people, and people stood up, including Jack Burla, to stand up.
Mm.
And now there's conversations with, there's amazing people in the IFCO who they try to do their best, but it's like, the ICA has a history and they've got lobbyists and they've got things that if we came together and pulled out great minds and these people we could work together and come into it. And I really felt that when Jack stood up and grabbed the application out of my hand, I was like, this is big for him to do this. I had a lot of respect for him for doing
Wow.
that. I really did. I was like,
I didn't realize you did it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, this could be really, really good for the future if we could just keep this movement going.
Maybe we need to invite some of the leadership of IFCO to next April's meeting
Yeah. Or sooner.
or sooner, but it'd be nice to start putting together some pieces of this puzzle a little bit more.
Or how about we get them on this call with us and we just have an open discussion?
Anytime.
Sounds good.
I
Yeah.
don't know who their leaders are right now.
I have
but
no idea.
Let's get together, man. It's it's time to just get the like-minded people together and cut the bullshit and let's do something.
Bottom line, we speak the same language, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Very, 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 very close. Close enough. That's for damn
at least,
sure.
yeah.
And I know damn right they have some very valid points.
They do.
100% they do.
I
But
will never say they don't. They absolutely do.
we're in a good place right now and you guys are fully responsible for most of it. So good job. Good
Oh.
job.
Yeah, we don't know any of their board of directors. Sean Dill. Okay. Yep. So, but yeah, that'd be great. We should do something like that.
Talk to
President
Jack.
Travis.
I'll shoot Jack a text and we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll pull something together.
Yeah. And I'm glad you could. When's Lyceum, Eddie?
First weekend in May.
First week of May. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see what I got. I'll see if I can make it up there. Guys, once again, love and appreciate everything you guys do for me, for DE, for the profession. And sorry I was late, but that's who I am. Unfortunately, sometimes I'll get my crap together
Every
sometime
time.
soon.
Never.
Every
Don't
time.
change.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I love about my boys, man. They love me with my warts and all, man.
We got to pull together a golf trip soon.
I would love to do that. I'd also love to do it as
Do a
all of
resort
us
and bring the
together.
wives. Let's bring
That's
the
it.
wives.
I'm in. That's all you had
Yeah.
to say. I'm in. So
Bring Drew a mannequin.
no, I think his associate could make it.
I can get somebody there. Just give me
Yeah,
a
just to
time.
come hang out for her to hang out with the ladies and stuff.
Yep.
So,
We'll do something.
Yeah, it was something. That sounds like a great idea. All right, guys, I love you. I'll talk to you soon.
Love y'all.
All right, till next time. See ya.
God bless you. Ciao.
See ya.